just open up the shoulders. I want to do this at the start of class and then at the end of class, so you can see the difference in the shoulders, because it's pretty nice, quite nice. So you're just going to get one book, okay, and you're going to put it, so you're lying on your back. I'll just demonstrate before you lie down. It's very straightforward though. I've got my hands like this, yes, they're quite active. I've got them on the end of the block, in the hope that I can take them over the head, and my arms will come quite close to the floor. Now, if you know your arms aren't going to get close to the floor, you don't need to do that. Have the block, have them somewhere else on the block, yeah? And this is a really lovely shoulder opener. Excuse me, and please remind me to do this at the end of class so you can see the difference. So off you go. You can have the legs, the knees bent, and feet on the floor. If you know you've got, sort of got to be careful with the lower back. Otherwise, you can have the feet flat. So completely up to you. I'm going to do this a few times. Moving on the breath. Exhaling back. And inhaling up and over the head, yeah? Active fingers. So you're not clutching the block. You're holding the block with your hands splayed. It's a really good one for opening, and opening up the chest. And I've just wiggled my shoulder blades down and away from my ears. And this is working, it's really, really, really nice. We don't do, this is flexion. When the hands go above the head, that's called flexion. And it's a range of movement that we kind of have reduced in our day-to-day domestic at-home lives. And we really need to keep this range of movement going. So moving on your breath. How does that feel? You might already be able to feel that you're getting a bit closer to the floor on one side, or you might be able to feel which shoulder's tighter because it's starting to complain. Yeah? So keep going with that. That's good. Okay. 2 more. Now another shoulder opener, because we've got quite a lot of blocks and books with us, so it'll take a bit of adjusting, but a very good, strong shoulder opener is this. So you've got one book here, or it could be a cushion, 2 books here. Okay, I'm going to put this, and watch me again, just roll onto your side. You will find a comfortable place. It's a very strong, so it's real chest opener. Okay, this is taken from yin yoga. So I've got my hands with my palms facing upwards. I'll roll up so you can see. And that's the setup. Slightly higher for underneath the chest. Yeah, and it's going to sort of brass strap, a little bit below the brass strap. So ribs, it's supporting all of your ribs really. And then my shoulders are coming off. It is strong. So again, we're always looking for dull, stretchy sensations. You don't want anything sharp or electrical or pins and needles. How does that look? The alignment looks great with Mary Ellen. I can't see, you're just going back now. So keep adjusting, Lynn, until you get it. But that looks good. And then have a think about wriggling your shoulders and just wriggling them down a little bit away from the ears. So you're releasing a bit of that habitual holding, a bit habitual tension, yeah? And it's powerful, but it's a passive stretch. So that's it. This is taken from yin yoga, where poses are held for quite a few minutes. So very good if you've had a stressful day. Just do try and wiggle your shoulders away from your ears. So you're thinking about your shoulder blades moving down the back. And then take a big sigh in through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. It's an interesting concept, sighing through the nose. And you can inhale through the nose again. And then exhale through the mouth. Now doing that in this position, you can really feel the effects of the breath and how it's physically moving the muscles, yeah? The musculature around the ribs. And it flags up which muscles are tight. So try that 2 more times. So I'm getting it back left shoulder. We're all going to get that somewhere else. Depends where you've got areas of tightness in the body. If it feels too strong on the neck, you might need more support under the neck because the neck is it's compressed in this position. We're aiming to get a stretch across the chest rather than in the neck, rather than in the throat. But there is a nice opening in the throat as well. So even though the head's gone back, you're sort of looking at the ceiling rather than the wall behind you. You're looking up. And if you found this very easy, you could intensify the pose. You'd be bringing the hands up above the head, directly up. Let the shoulders fall into the shoulder socket. You'd cross the arm and get hold of the inner elbow, and then take the arms over the head. But this really does make it a lot stronger. I'm getting tugging now around the armpits. So creating space in the upper body. Poses like this, the yoga tradition says are invigorating, uplifting, energizing. You're opening up your heart center. And then we're going to release out of that. So I would like you to just roll onto the side, move the books to one side, and have a think about that. You know, you could do that with a variation of blankets as well, to make it a bit softer maybe, or towels. So just release. I've kept a support under my neck, and I've just come to lie on my back, and I'm letting the spine and shoulder region just absorb that stretch. We're going to move the blocks now, and we're going to place them just under the sacrum. So this is like a back, it's an opening up the whole body. We're staying with that. What I want you to do is you're going to go up one block, get your second book nearby. You'll go up possibly 2 books, and then you'll come down 1 book at a time. So you won't go high and then straight out. So again, this is opening up the whole of the front of the body. You will probably stay with 1 block, Marianne, because this is a back bend, a gentle back bend, yeah? Or if you just, the idea of it makes you feel uncomfortable, then you could come into reclining butterfly and work on opening your hips instead, yeah? Because hips and shoulders are connected. Otherwise, if you want to, so I'm just going to place 1 block underneath, so it's underneath the sacrum. I'm going to take away the block that's on my head. So I've got a very gentle, my arms have gone up over the head. I've got a very gentle back bend going on. I know where to put this because I've done this many times. I do find you could just stay with no blocks and have the hands up above the head, would be another option. If you know your back is very sensitive. So wiggle it around until it gets comfy. And then once you've done that, you've got the positioning right. Take another book, slide it under. It could be a magazine. It doesn't have to be a big, thick book. You can do it very, very gently, and you'll feel the difference. And it may well feel too much, in which case, take it away. If we weren't practicing at home alone, I would suggest getting a belt and tying it around the legs to keep the hips supported and be able to really release at a muscular level. But obviously that's going to be trussed up like a turkey and quite tricky to get out of. So unless you've got a handy assistant, I wouldn't suggest doing that at home because you might get in a bit of a pickle. So if you've gone raised up, do try the arms up above the head. How does that feel? If you know you're tight in the shoulders, you can use the books to support the arms if they're really not getting to the floor in a comfortable way. So maximise on props and comfort. And same thing as before, take a big breath in through the nose, big inhale, and then exhale through the mouth. Do that 3 times and get this sense of how the breath is moving in the body. It's much easier to sense it when you're in a position like this. I think a good yoga name for this one would be the beached whale. Okay, so now take the block, top block out, you're coming down slowly. Come back into the stretch. See if you can draw the shoulders down the back, even though you're reaching up. We don't want to be around the ears, we want to create some space. So you can even do it, it's called a skin scrub, where you'll catch the shoulders on the floor, and then the skin is held in place as the muscles ripple up. A couple more breaths here. And release. Take the block out. And same as before, just let the body absorb that. That's a passive stretch, but it's still a strong stretch, okay? It might not be much to look at, but in the feeling from the inside out, you can really feel the effects of that. You may want to let the knees fall towards each other, just to release lower back a bit more. And then from here, we're going to do the piriformis stretch. So I'm taking my right leg and I'm placing it across over the left knee in a tight cross. And then I'm lifting both knees up and feet off the ground, getting hold of the right leg with my right hand on right, just below the right knee. The left hand towards the ankle. Just get hold of wherever you can get hold of. And then I'm rolling my shoulders back and down. Drawing the knee into the midline, and the stretch will be in the back of the right thigh. So piriformis muscle, sciatica muscle, deep in there. Again, check you're not really tensing the shoulders. We've just opened the shoulders up. Keep that space. And then pull in, so belly button going in the direction of the knee in direction of belly button. Just then get that stretch. It's a very tight muscle. It's quite hard to release, so it tends to get quite tight. And this accesses it. Now, given that they've got knee issues going on, I wouldn't suggest this, but for those who might like to try it, you can do camel walls, where you get hold of both ankles. This changes the stretch. It's no longer a piriformis stretch, it's now a hip stretch. And now we're going to release and swap sides. So feet to the floor, cross, other side, and then so left leg holding with the left hand just below left knee, and then the right hand further down the leg, or whatever's accessible to you. It doesn't have to be right the way down. You can tug this leg in towards the midline and belly button without having to reach right down the leg. So think about keeping your shoulders back and down and searching for sensation. And one side will be tighter than the other, quite probably. So by now you should be able to sense which side is. Tug in just one more to the midline. Okay. And then release. Feet coming back to the floor, and we're doing windscreen wipers. So we're taking the feet really wide, and then let the legs go one way, and then the other. And again, I would encourage you, you can have your hands on the belly button, if you prefer on the sort of abdominal region. But I've got palms against the floor, keeping this broadness across the chest. So feet have gone wider than the mat, knees both go one way, and then both go the other. So You want it to get, if you were to have a piece of string, you get a straight line from right shoulder to right knee. And then when you go the other way, you imagine a straight line or a ruler from left shoulder to left knee. So this is very good for the back as well as for the hips. And for getting into the obliques on the side of the body. Going slowly, very controlled, not flopping the legs over. Doing it in a controlled way. So I'm inhaling up and exhaling down. It doesn't matter which is your inhale, which is your exhale, just as long as you're moving on the breath. Okay. And then from here, we're going to move into bananasana, it's called. So this is working the side of the body. So it's another yin pose. This is the last yin pose that we're going to be doing, I think. So you'll need to bring your feet together, lift your bottom up, just shunt it over. So I've gone to the left side of my mat. Not much, not too very far, but it's just to create space in the lower back. Now the idea is the stretch is going to go all down the side of my body. So I'm going to bring my arms over to the right, and then I'm going to straighten out my legs, and then I'm going to think about taking my legs over to the right. So you want the hip on the left to stay down, you want the left shoulder to stay down. So if you need to put some of your books underneath your arm, because your arms are sort of a bit up in the air, please do support it. Go for getting comfortable in the pose. The suggestion is that you have your right foot over your left ankle if you want to intensify the stretch, because that will keep the hip down. If I swap and I do right over left, which is my preference, this hip's gone up. My left hip's gone up. So, but you don't have to cross the legs, and you don't have to have the arms on the floor. You can have them supported. But you want to keep your left shoulder as much as possible and left hip in contact with the ground, and so that the stretch is really going on the side. If you twist and start raising that hip up, then the spine is getting involved, and we don't want that. And again, if you want to intensify the stretch, you could get hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Couple more breaths, so we'll swap sides. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, and feel new areas of tightness. So we're on the side of the body now. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Wherever feels tight, as you exhale, imagine that muscle loosening and releasing all the knots or whatever it is, yeah? Inhaling through the nose. Now exhale, imagine those muscles lengthening and releasing and unknotting. Okay. And then feet to the floor. Same thing as before. I pull my arms down. I can really feel that was quite a strong stretch. Inhale, lift your bottom up over to the right of the mat, but only by an inch. And then stretch the leg. Do the arms first if you want, or the legs first, completely your choice. But both arms and legs are now going over towards the left. Yeah? You're looking up, and the body is staying flat. So I've hooked my right ankle with my left foot. I've grabbed my right wrist with my left hand. And the important thing is that right shoulder stays down and right hip. So I'll demonstrate. If you were twisting, that your hip would go up, and we don't want that. We want the stretch in the side. And feel free, like I say, to put stuff under the arms if your shoulders are not allowing your arms to get to the floor. Same as the other side, taking a big breath in through the nose. As we exhale out through the mouth. Imagine those muscles that are tight, lengthening and releasing, and letting go of any tension that they're holding. Well, not all of it, just some of it. And feel the contact of the back with the floor, the contact with the earth. Know that you're safe, supported, and can really release. Okay. One more breath. So bring the feet back to the mat, knees in the air. We're going to do a reclining twist now. So bring the knees up into the air, and I'm taking my legs and knees over to the right. And then I want to keep the arms in a cactus shape, and think about getting the left shoulder down. I'm going to bring my right hand onto my left knee, or thigh really, to deepen the stretch, optional. You can use one of your books to place it between the knees or underneath the knees. So prop yourself as much as you need, because your knees are very gentle. You could use cushions. And really make sure there's no twinges, nothing pins and needling, nothing's getting overworked, okay? And once you've settled yourself into the pose, you can turn and look over your left shoulder. So the cervical spine, which is the neck, is getting a stretch as well. So again, it's a passive stretch. It's a deep stretch because gravity is working with you. And the fact that you're using the floor means you can't hitch one hip higher or lower, shorten the stance, which you can in standing poses. Yeah, and the alignment is kept in place by the support of the floor. And so that allows us to see which muscles might be slightly tighter and that we might accommodate for in our standing postures and not notice. Okay, and then bring the knees back up, controlled, and to the centre, and then let them go straight over to the other side. You grab any props that you had that you're going to need and take them over to the other side. That feel okay? Yeah. Good. I'm getting a stretch here in the ball and socket joint, but it'll be different. It might be more around the side, different. Might be more on the IT band, running down the side of the leg. Might be somewhere completely different because the stretch is going from right fingertips right the way across the body, armpit, across the ribs, obliques, abdominal, hip, and outside of the leg, glutes as well. Once you're established in the pose, you can take the head and look over your right shoulder. Okay, and then we're gonna start moving a bit more sort of actively now. So I want you to just check there's nothing behind you. Bring the knees back to centre. Draw the knees into the chest in the direction of the chest for a minute. Give the ankles a little wiggle. So circle the ankles one way, and then circle on the other. We've opened up the hips quite nicely. So from here, we'll go into happy baby. So So you can then take the hands if you want behind the knees and pull the knees towards the armpits, or it might be accessible to you to get hold of the feet on the outside of the feet or on the inside, whichever feels best for you. Yeah? These are all the different options. And whichever one you're going for, you want to be pulling the legs actively towards the armpits. And you want your lower leg to be facing straight up, as if you were trying to walk on the ceiling. And if you want, and you're feeling comfortable, you can start rocking gently from side to side. This is a really strong, really good. It's a great video. Some feet. I love it. That's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it's a really strong hip stretcher. And this is just gently waking up the spine. So that's quite nice. So we're going to swing ourselves up to sitting in a minute, so we're going to really wake up the spine. So how does that feel? Can you rock it in a little bit more? Can you tug the legs in towards you a little bit more? Okay. So now take the hands behind the knees. Check that if you're going to roll up to sitting, which is the plan, that there's nothing directly behind you that's going to get bashed or in front of you. And then we're going to roll a few times because you want to wake up the spine, okay? So although you can come up to sitting, I'd like you to go back and try and take that further into the shoulders, okay? Once you've done that a few times, come up to sitting. Okay, great. So that's quite invigorating. Although we've done very gently, brilliant. It's quite invigorating. So the rolling's really stimulating for the spine, and the earlier stuff with the arms open like this is very stimulating as well. So I'm going to come onto one of your books or two or cushions. Make use of all your props. Ideally, you want to have your knees lower than your hips, yeah? So that's where I've come onto a block. So get yourself comfy. May take a minute. Looking good. Everyone feeling okay? Yeah? If it's too uncomfortable, you supported enough? Because otherwise it's the lower back as well as the knees that gets a bit of the strain there. See how you're doing. Okay. That's better. Nice, thank you. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a side stretch. So we're sticking with opening up this area of the body. I'd like you to take your right hand up in the air, create some length there. Okay. So to keep creating length, I'm going to bring my left hand up now. I'm going to grab hold of my right hand. I'm going to just take it gently across the body or over to the side. So ear lines up with upper arm. Okay. And then I'm going to take my left hand down to the floor and I'm going to carry on with that side stretch. It might be that you want to release the hands to be on the back of the head, and that feels better for you. So if you've got high blood pressure, I would advise that. And then I'm just taking the hand a little bit further over to the side. It's really important that you're not looking towards the floor, because that will twist the spine and change the stretch. You want the stretch to be the side. So you can even use the hand that is on the floor to push yourself back slightly. And see how that deepens the stretch on the right hand side of the body. And then come back up. Feel the effects of that for a minute. So we've done an awful lot on the side of the body. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So hand comes up in the air. Left hand's come up, right hand's going to get hold of it and actively encourage it over. If sitting on the block side, this isn't comfortable. You could always sit on your books in a pose like this, which is very, very good for the knees, but you need to be quite high up. Yeah, this is very, very good for the synovial fluid going. So find a pose that's comfortable. Take your time and find a pose that's comfortable. You can always, and then once you're in the pose, coming over to the side. Once you feel like you've created some space here, hands coming in the direction of the floor. If the floor's too far away, use your books to support, to place the hand on. And again, you can repeat. If you had the hand on the back of the head in the last one, please do that in this one. And we're coming over to the side, and pushing back with the hand to intensify the stretch. Slow, steady breaths again. And release, come on. Great. Brilliant, okay. So just give the neck a little gentle side to side. I'm releasing, I've let the ear come towards the left ear to left shoulder, and I'm just dangling my right arm and create some space here. You don't want the arm engaged, you want it to be loose. And again, all the way down the side, it feels really nice. And back up, same on the other side. So now my right ear's gone towards my right shoulder. Left arm is just dangling, it's just hanging. And it may well be I'm moving the head gently backwards from side to side. Because of the space we've created in the shoulders, this might feel quite different now. And then back up. Okay. So hands are coming up over the head, palms facing towards each other. And then on an exhale, I'm bringing my right hand to my left knee. And I've taken my left hand behind me, lifting up, and then as I exhale, so, you know, again, I start turning, okay? So I'm turning towards my left shoulder. Keep that length in the spine. If you don't have the length, you can't get the twist. And then inhale, lengthen again. Use the hand on the thigh to take yourself a bit deeper. There's some traction going on. Exhale again. Third time, inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, turn. And then back to center. That's a really deep stretch. Should feel quite pleasant. And same again, we're going to inhale, bring the hands up above the head. And then on the exhale, ankle off the thigh. So left hand on right thigh. Get the length, 3 turn. Exhale, turn. Inhale, lengthen up. Imagine I've got my hand on your head and you're pushing into it. Turn again. Last time, really using the hand on the thigh to get you a bit deeper. Turn. And then back to center. So now we're going to move on the breath. We're going to do that fast and moving on the breath. So inhale, hands come up. Exhale, turn. Inhale, hands come up above the head and meet. Exhale, don't have to meet, but they come towards each other. Exhale, turn the other way. Inhale, hands come up. Exhale, keep turn back to the first side. Belly button towards the spine, really think of that. Then inhale, hands come up. Exhale, second side. We'll do it 3 times all together. Inhale, hands come up over the head. Last time. Exhale, turn. Really get that length. Really imagine the belly button going towards the spine. And then inhale. Last time. Exhale. Good. Right. Bring the feet out in front of you if you're kneeling. Lengthen through the spine. And then fold forwards to wherever's comfortable. Be careful with your lower back, be careful with your knees, okay? So I've got my arms inside my thighs. And I'm lengthening through the spine, so sideways. This would be with a straight back, coming forwards, and then you can round. Belly's drawn in to protect the back. Heels are touching if possible. Pulling the hat of skin underneath the big toes apart and folding forward. And this is getting into the outside of the legs. And then inhale, come up. Bring the knees back together. Straighten the legs. Make sure you're sitting comfortably. I'm probably going to come off the block actually. But if you feel you're going to need the block, stay with the block. We're going to take our right leg over our left. If you are on the block, you might need to put something underneath the knee of the left leg, if it's raised off the ground. And then just draw that knee towards you, roll the shoulders back and down. Get that length. And it's very similar to the first one. I'm going to have a block behind me to take my hand to. Lifting the right arm up in the air. On an exhale, taking it around behind, lifting the body up, the upper body up, and on the exhale, using the arm. I've not got hold of the knee. You want to hold the knee, it can be a thigh, it can be a shin. You can take the arm across if that can be part of the practice, and you'll turn to look back. But you don't have to. Holding here is fine. Get some traction, get a nice twist. Extended legs pointing up, toes are pointing up, and knees pointing up. Roll the shoulder that you're looking over back and down. And then come back to centre. Just try the other side. So very gently, you're just counter stretching the other way. Okay, and then come back and swap sides. So the first thing was to draw the knee into the chest. Like I say, check that the toes are active and the knees pointing up with the extended foot. And same thing, if you wanted to come across, and that's part of the practice, get a deeper stretch, feel free to do that. But it's really not necessary. You get a lovely stretch, holding on to the leg, hands coming up in the air, so left arm's come up in the air, and then left arm's coming back and behind, lifting up and exhaling, turning. Roll the shoulder down, the shoulder you're looking over, roll it back and down. Might be you don't need the block. Inhale, lengthen up. Imagine I've got my hand on your head and you're pushing into it. Exhale, turn. Great. And then come back to centre. You look how to stretch the other way. I'm not trying to turn and look right behind, I'm just looking to the wall here. Imagine somebody's got a ruler and they're putting it along here, and it's in one straight line along the front of the chest, so both your shoulders are back, yeah? Great. And release. Okay, take feet wide. Okay, and now just think about rolling the toes forward. So rolling the whole leg, not just the toes. You're rotating. How does that feel? If you need it, if your knees are really off the ground, you might want some support here. If you have them raised, that could be helpful as well. Yeah, so go with what's comfortable for you. And then we're going to stretch forward over our right leg. So bring the left foot in the direction of the thigh. Might be that it comes against the thigh. Might be that you want to go on a block. Again, it might be that you want to put a cushion here to protect your knee. That's really quite far off the floor. I would suggest supporting it. You leave your kind of shoulders. So get yourself nice and comfy, put any adjustments in that you need. And then we're going to take our arms up again to get that length. And then on the next exhale, we're coming forward, hands either side of the leg, thinking about leading with the sternum. So you've got some space. Yes, I'll show you that side raise. So you're coming up and you're coming forwards, leading with the sternum. So you're not rounding to get forward, you're leading. And then you can have the hands on the floor and think about pulling yourself forwards. So as if it was like your hands won't move, but it just gives you that sensation of moving forward. Think about the knee of the bent leg going in the direction of the floor. So you're getting a nice strong stretch here. And then if you want to, you can fold and you're looking towards your toes. So the round back is rounding right at the end, but it's gone down nice and straight. If you've got a stretch on the back of the knee, you might want to put some padding under here. And breathe. And then lengthen through the spine as you come up, and release, and do the other side. Okay? So, against thigh. Again, use your knees up, toes are flexed. Hand comes up to get some length in the spine, coming forwards, leading with the chest. Hands either side. You can come onto your fingertips to keep that length. And then think about your knee going down. Support your knee if you need to. And then release, looking to the toes. Slow, steady breaths. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Okay, so we're coming onto all fours. And what I want to do now is I put my books. So you're going to do books like this. Okay? Yeah. So the first thing we're going to do is a cat-cow as well, so we just to release the spine, really wake it up. Do some cat-cows. Oh, that's so nice. Rippling, imagine, feel that ripple going all the way through the spine. Right to the tailbone. And the crown of the head, yeah? Get that ripple going. Imagine your tail between the legs. And then just look back, so a side stretch. So you're looking back at your heels, really swaying the hips from side to side. And now we're going to do, it's another chest opener. So I'll demonstrate it. So just watch me for a second. So I'm lying flat, completely flat on the floor. And I have got my forearms on blocks. My hands are in prayer, they're coming over the head, and the head's coming to the floor. You might not need the blocks, you might think this is too strong. And you might like to do it without the blocks, okay? So it's your, see what works for you. So hands are in prayer and they're coming over the head. I'm going to take my blocks a little bit. So again, it's all about adjusting this to find the right position for you. So I'm taking my forearms a bit further forwards. I'm getting more of a stretch in the armpits. And I'm letting the arms go right back so we touch the nape of the neck. Rather than the hand touching the nape of the neck. So I'll show you that sideways as well. Okay, so for those You know they've got to go easy on the back, stay in that position. For others who feel that they're okay in the back, we're going to come into seal. So you're going to take the blocks away, take the hands wide, and come up. So you're doing a back bend, yeah? So hands are really quite wide. So that's the pose that you're taking. You catch my hands there. There you go. See how that feels. Roll the shoulders back and down. So I wouldn't do this, Mary, and I think it's going to be too strong on the back. If I was you, I'd go to Sphinx, yeah? If you want to come back here and pose. Okay? And then, as I've been obsessed with side twists in this session, if you want to, if you're in seal, bring your left hand in small towards the centre. I'll take right hand back and I'll take it right across to, you can't see my hand in the way, but it's gone right over here. Okay. I'm looking back. So that's shoulder and hip, sorry, shoulder and side of the body. So you're looking over my right shoulder. And right hand's gone to the next thigh, or left hip. And then release, and do the same on the other side. So, side, so you can see. Okay, and then release, and from there go into child's pose, please. So you're going to push back, toes touch, knees go wide. You can place some books under your knee if you know you need to create a bit of space here. That can be really nice, just to support the bottom, and then you're coming forwards. And again, you might have another book here for the forehead. You might not need, or might not want any of those. And we're releasing down, so just forehead coming to contact with the floor. Try and, if you have got forehead in contact with the floor, to let the skin, I was talking about skin scrub earlier on, so try and have the forehead coming forwards towards the eyebrows rather than the skin being pushed the other way. And just relax and release and let go. Then I'd like you to push yourself up from that slowly. It might be that you want to put some blanket or something underneath the knees. I have to say this and then do it because I'm going to get really muffled. What we're going to do is we're going to curl forward. So the chin is coming into the chest. And then I'm going to keep rolling down. It's very important. I'm going to keep rolling down. You'll get to wherever you get to. Hands are going to reach back for the heels. Might be you get to here. And you're just in a tight ball. If you do get to the floor, you want to make sure that you're not weight bearing on the head, okay? So we're going to do this. So let's get the length, then exhale. Chin's coming towards chest. Coming over, coming over, coming over. Reach back, the hold of my heels. My forehead, the top of my head is coming onto the floor, quite close to my knees. You don't have to get there. You can be stretched here with a beautiful stretch. If you do, you just keep the top of the head not weight bearing in as close to the knees as possible. You're tugging on your heels. And you're getting as tight a ball as you can be. Okay. And then release, slowly come up. I think we're nearly out of time. I'm going to do 2 more shoulder stretches, okay? So the first shoulder stretch, come back onto all fours. Bring the arm underneath the body. So again, have some blocks ready. Might need one for the shoulder, might need one for the head. So the hand comes underneath. I'd say you might want to prop this. Okay, or it might be you can come down and across. So this is. You all right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Just going to mute you. But do unmute yourself if you've got a question. I know this is there should be a nice release. Should's never a good word. It's a passive stretch, so if you've got props in the right place and you're feeling supported, it can be quite nice. Yeah? But it's again strong, it's a twist, working the same area. And then we're going to come up, and it's the same on the other side. Take the other one under. Head may or may not come to the floor. If it doesn't, prop it. Shoulder may or may not come to the floor. If it doesn't, prop it. Okay, and then come up. So for your last pose, they give you two options. One is a shoulder stretch, but you might feel you've worked shoulders enough today, in which case you can do an abdominal. The abdominal will be elbow together.
Liz,
Yeah.
it's 1/2 past.
Rack time. Okay. Well, we won't do that.
Time.
Okay, it's time to go to Shavasana. Thank you very much. So it comes lying on your back. Yeah, again, note to self. Lying on your backs. Really just wiggle the shoulders towards each other, the shoulder blades. We've done a lot on the side here. So there will be an increased sense of space here. I would suggest just taking your head off the floor and looking at your feet, just to get a sense of how heavy the neck of your head is, and then release it back to the floor. And that will just give you a sense of the weight of the head. So if your alignment's a bit off, you have to pause or back. That's going to be a lot on the neck, yeah? So just settle, come to a place where you're feeling comfortable. Make any last minute adjustments that you need to make in terms of feeling comfortable. If you need to put a blanket over you, please do that. You know, you can stay in Shavasana for as long as you want. You don't have to get up at the end. If you're feeling nicely opened and released and you can breathe more deeply, then stay and enjoy. If you've got time, stay for another 5 minutes and really enjoy that sense of having opened up the chest and taking the shoulders back and down. Yeah? So right now I'd like you to check there's no clenching in the jaw. If there is, move the bottom jaw from side to side to release it. Yeah. Think about the contact, top lip possibly on the bottom lip. Maybe you can feel the teeth because the tongue is curled behind the teeth, possibly. And then we're going to scan down the body. So take your attention to the crown of the head, and then to the back of the head, back of the shoulder blades, feel the curvature of the spine, the rise and fall of the chest as the breath moves in the body. If you've got any sensitivity in the lower back, I would suggest putting the feet on the floor and having the knees in the air, or you can even put cushions underneath the knees. That can be really lovely. And that will just release the lower back. Otherwise, think about curvature of the spine and then the weight of the hips and the pelvis. The contact there with the floor, and perhaps you can release in the abdominal area of the body, hip flexors. Just give up. 2%, the tightness of the holding, just release it and let it go. The feet might turn out slightly as the hip flexors release. And there's an openness there. Newfound openness in the hips. So the buttocks are in contact with the floor, backs of the thighs, backs of the calves, that's the lower leg, and quite often the heels. Feel all those points of contact and they come back up through the body, the heels, backs of the calves, backs of the thighs, hips, buttocks, lower back, upper back, arms, hands possibly, the shoulders, back of the head, all those points of contact. Just feel them supported by the floor, safe and held in your home, on your mat. Release. Bring your attention now to the breath and feel the wave that it creates. On the inhale, the ripple. And then the ripple on the exhale. Perhaps you can hear your breath very, very gently. The rhythmical inhale and exhale. Breath is the place where the external world and the internal world meet and mingle. And now very gently bring a bit of movement back into the body. It could be moving the head very gently from side to side and feeling the support that the back of the head has. It could be moving the toes or fingers. And then very slowly draw the knees in towards the chest. Taking as much time as you need, really just a little squeeze. Releasing the lower back. And again, take as much time as you need. Slowly come over onto your side. And then you're ready to come up. This is it. Thank you very much for practicing with me.
Thank you.